Hello, Gemini. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're doing well. And I've been busy here for the past hour and a half, getting all of the messages channeled and written. Actually, for the past couple of days, I've been receiving a lot of messages for you. So I can't wait to look ahead at the month of December and again, bring through all the messages from Spirit and also look and see what the cards have to say here in just a moment. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This little lovely creature is Apollo. And today I'm going to be looking at Sun, Rising, and Moon is what I kind of set this up for, but it'll be the sign of Gemini for the month of December. And the channeled messages at the beginning are very much relevant to the here and the now. So anybody that's tuning in today, irrespective of where that sits in your chart, or even if you're not part of Gemini, the messages can basically relate to you. So we'll be doing that in just a moment. The way that I organize the reading is in a few major parts here, about 4 different sections. So let me talk about that and then we'll get started. The first section is the intuitive download, the psychic messages that I have here, and all the channeled messages will go over here first, and then I get into the Celtic Cross. And sometimes I'll look in the comments and people will say the reading begins with the Celtic Cross, but that's not really accurate. It begins with the psychic messages here at the beginning, and they feed into and also give color and context to what we're going to look at in just a second. So then I'll get into the Celtic Cross, and then I move along to look at the expanded forecast at health, wealth, love, and destiny, which helps the center portion take on whatever energy it needs or wants to. And then those specific areas are always highlighted and always included. And after that, we'll do a quick review and then go a little bit deeper into some things that I've seen here. And again, some of the main messages that I got before we started, and then some of the ones that reveal themselves as I actually get into the reading. So that part is called the soul path. And we also include a meditation with that too, to help integrate everything. And I also play a singing bowl at the end. So a nice all-inclusive look at what's coming through. And I think you're going to enjoy all of the aforementioned. Now, just a couple quick notes. First of all, I'd like to welcome Ryan and Maria. They're amazing at helping keep this organized. And if you have any questions, they're there to help. If they need to kind of keep things in order, that's their prerogative. And I appreciate their help, and just work with them, please. Also, I'd like to highlight how I work with Super Chat, since every reader does it a little bit differently. Basically, I channel the entire time. I kind of go out of my head a little bit and just allow the energy to come through. As such, I don't like to take myself out of the channel to read chat all the time. So if you want to support me, please feel free to. Super Chat is a great way to show that support. And decks like this were purchased through funds that you helped me get through a Super Chat. So that's basically what it does. It supports the channel, and all these little note cards that I write on require replenishment. So Sharpies and note cards and tarot cards, that's what I use Super Chat for. But I don't take questions here. I am going to have a Q&A for my book later this month, and I'll talk about that at the end of the reading. So there are certain times where I do take questions, but this is not one of them. It's a general reading for the collective. So I just wanted to get that clear at the beginning. And now let's get started, because there's so much that's coming through for your sign that I want to make sure that I get through everything today. Welcome to everybody, whether it's your first time or you've been here many, many times. Every reading's a little bit different, because the energy of any given month is different. And every time I show up, I'm getting sort of a little bit of a different energetic download. Today was definitely a lot lighter and brighter than things have been in a while, but there were still some things that I needed to kind of highlight for you regarding how you could help yourself. The first thing was about self-care. So I want to go talking about this first, and then we'll get into some of the breakthrough energy that I was also picking up on. So self-care was definitely a big theme of what I was getting in meditations and also in the dreams. That's part of how I get the messages for you. I'll set an intention to receive, and I receive dreams. What I saw for some of you was just this feeling of being exhausted, or you were working in your sleep, like sleepworking. There's this thing called sleepwalking. It's sort of like you were sleepworking. But what I actually intuited from this was a positive sort of energy, which is that sleep was a necessity, and ironically, it could help you work. So for those of you that are kind of like type A personalities, or your mind is going a lot, Gemini, you're a very cognitive sign. You think a lot. So one of the important things that you need to kind of focus on is the ability to just let it go, or let things kind of marinate a little bit. And so your dreaming time is going to be important for that. So you'll still be doing etheric work and you'll be kind of doing astral projection type work, but your body needs the time to basically regroup and repair. So sleep is a necessity, not a luxury. There are times during which we can kind of like push the limit a little bit and burn the candle at both ends, but eventually that wick is going to meet in the center and you don't want to get to that point. So this is a time to kind of like build up your reserves a bit, and you will be a better problem solver. You'll be more articulate, more patient, more capable, more insightful if you get sleep. And not only that, you'll be productive, as we said, but you're also going to be more psychic, because for me, this is one of the best ways that I can tap into my intuition. I'm more psychic when I'm dreaming, or right before I go to bed, or right after. So if I get up in the morning, I'm still kind of half in that zone and I can get a lot of great insights. And that's when I do a lot of the work for the channeled messages. I'm tapping it into my phone, or I'm coming in here groggy and trying to write things down really quickly before it leaves my third eye and my head. And that's one of the things that I would kind of advise your sign to do this month as well, is before you forget, or whenever you're struck with inspiration, even if it's during the day, those daydreams or those dreams, that's basically your soul saying, hey, wake up. These are some things that are really important for you to pay attention to. So the number one way you can become more psychic is to get enough sleep and to pay attention to what's coming through during those dreams. So enough said. Rest, it's going to help you, and that's going to give you what you need to go that extra mile. And we'll talk in a few moments here why that's important. I basically got like flashbulb images, which I don't always get with psychic downloads, but they were very clear. So I was shown things. So I'm going to tell you about the images. The next image that I saw was like you searching for a car and then picking up a parking ticket. And what I was getting from this, what I intuited from this is, one, you could be sort of mentally parked in a space too long, thinking about something too much, holding on to something for too long. You could also be stuck in a job, in a relationship, or in a living situation too long. The ticket is the universe saying, please, it's time to move on. You're not going to incur any fines or anything here. It's just a symbol. But what it is saying is that you're kind of like past due the moving point. And this is your wake-up call. So if you're watching it in November, it's a good time to start to figure out what to do for the new year. And in December, same thing. So if there's something that you've been hesitating on, thinking, I'll just wait until the time is better, the universe is saying, maybe that's the perfectionist side of you thinking that there has to be a perfect time. It feels like movement now is super important. So I'm encouraging you to just to kind of get the basically get the motor running, right? Because we're going to use the metaphor of the car here, and move. Let me just go through the cards here and I'll have some more insight in just a second here. So again, searching for your car, having a hard time finding it because you've been parked so long in one place. Once you get there, there was a ticket. And then again, I think that this has been just indicating a lack of movement, because that's what happens. Like, I live in Los Angeles. So if you stay too many days in one space, you'll get a ticket. Or if you stay there on the day that it's cleaning, you get a ticket. Paying attention to the warning signs or the signs, that's another message here. I feel like you've already received a download or an inclination of what you need to do. So this is just saying honor that. The other thing, if we go sort of into the car metaphor a bit, shifting gears, this could also just be about changing the focus, right? Because if we stagnate too long, we're also not making progress. We're just stuck. So taking a risk, shifting mental gears. If there was a gear here, I have no idea how to shift manual, but basically shift the gears, get out of park, get into drive, and then also take the wheel and take control. So this would be you putting in your king, queen, emperor, empress energy and saying, I've got this. I need to do what I need to do, and it's time for me to move. You're either going to get into the car or I'm going to move forward without you. So there is that decision that maybe you have to own it without the help of others if you're waiting for other people. The other thing that, if we take a little bit of time to look at the ticket, one thing that I would say is if you go through your finances, your contracts, your bills, I just want you to make sure that you're not paying extra on anything, or that you're not incurring fees because of delaying or dragging your feet. Sometimes this happens with taxes and other things. Basically, just pay what you owe. Release any debts, release any old contracts, get that stuff done, literally and metaphorically or symbolically. So if there's anything in your life where it's just sort of like you feel like you need to follow through on something you said you were going to do and you're late on doing that. It could just be a verbal contract or a promise as well. Because in the etheric realm, in the Akashic records, there are those little late fines that are coming up there. So it's all tracked. So just get it cleared out karmically so you're not going to have to deal with that debt in a future life. Okay? So overall, not bad here. Take care of yourself, sleep. You're going to get psychic messages in your dreams. Second piece of messages have to do with moving and not sitting still anymore. So you're not going to get the spiritual psychic parking tickets anymore. The next piece was really cool, and I got this actually on the weekend, and I didn't understand at the time what it was about, but it makes a lot more sense today. So there was an image of you kind of like walking or dancing or moving on top of a glass surface. And then I saw you break through the glass. And so to me, then it was actually like a ceiling, and then you were in a different space. So it doesn't matter how you break a glass ceiling. To me, that's a great auspicious symbol. When I first saw it, it was kind of like Alice falling through the rabbit hole, and I wasn't sure what was going on. So I felt this sense of movement, quick movement, unexpected energy kind of shifting. And that's really what's coming through for November and December. Wherever there was, for some of you, because it actually wasn't even just a ceiling, it was kind of like the flooring too. So things that were once stable have been moved and they're unstable. But that doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. It means that there was necessary change happening. So whether it's the ceiling or the floor, I'm seeing movement. And because it was glass, to me, that is symbolic of imaginary limits or perceived limits that are now starting to go away. So again, falling through a glass ceiling. And I thought it was auspicious because you're going to have the ability to move up, to move down, to move around, to break through, basically. And release sort of any of the figurative ceilings to your soul's firmament. I got poetic there for a second, but it's sort of like sometimes we box ourselves into these symbolic boundaries. So this is saying you're not as stuck, you're not as grounded as you think, like a tree that has roots in the ground. You're also not limited by upward mobility, upward or downward. There, you can go whatever direction you want. This is up to you. Don't let rejection deter you, because perseverance is what's going to win out in the end as well. So I saw a big breakthrough, and this is kind of like the big idea for this month for you, is that things are not as stuck as you think. They're not maybe as solid as you think, and they're also, you're not as limited as you think. There is movement in all directions. So basically the onus is on you. Where do you want to go? Why are you where you're at right now? And for some of you, this actually kind of segues into the next thing. Is it because you want to be there or someone wanted you to be there? This was specifically shown to me for those of you that might be seeking out training or might be in school. I saw myself going back to an old college that I used to go to. And in my energy, I was like, why am I here? I don't want to be here. And so for me, you could symbolically also read this as a lesson in your life or a situation in your life. How did I end up here is the sort of rhetorical question in your head. And the answer is, you already know. It was probably to please or assuage someone else's concerns. And I want to remind you that happiness, success, fulfillment, they don't have to be mutually exclusive, and they don't have to be something that you give up for the expense of others' approval or happiness, because that Six of Wands energy is great to have, but not if they're pushing you into doing something that you don't want to do. You'll be more happier, you'll be more successful, and you'll probably go further if you're following your own hopes, your own ambitions, and your own soul's path. That's hopefully something that we're easing into in the 21st century, which I think was a difference from like the past century, where you were expected to be like one of 3 or 4 main career types to be successful. And that's not true. You can be happy and successful doing whatever you want. And digital sort of technology has broken through that glass ceiling and that glass floor. The sky's the limit, okay? Take some time this month to get to know new people in your life. For those of you that are looking for love, this message is especially for you. But for those of you that might be in a relationship, this also has to do with you. What I saw in my mind's eye was kind of like a doppelganger, or someone that was wearing a mask that wasn't coming through truly as who you thought they were. But I was able to see through the mask, and I kind of knew that I wasn't dealing with what I thought I was. So I want you to really follow your gut and get some, take some time to get to know people. Ask questions. Don't take things at face value. The more you start to wake up, it's both a cool thing and also something that sometimes you wish you didn't have, but you're going to have anyway. You're going to be able to see through facades, and words are sometimes just words, or appearances are just appearances. When you go to sleep that night, you may see what's really happening. When you close your eyes and meditate, you may see what's really happening. I want you to trust that. It's nothing to worry about too much. Basically, all I would say is, if it's a new person in your life, don't trust too easily. Just really get to know them and vet out who they are. Now, if there's somebody in your life that you've known for a while and you get the feeling that there's something that they're hiding, try to just be the best advocate that you can for them. Hold space for them to reveal who they are and take off that mask. That's all we can do sometimes, right? So I feel like that's the main piece to take away from there. But relationships are going to require more discernment, more time. Don't move too quickly in any direction with respect to that. And finally, in the same realm of relationships, I definitely felt a blood relationship that needed to be healed here. We have, I didn't write it down, but I knew I would talk about it. It has to do with younger energy in your life. So when I was looking at it, I was seeing, for me, like cousins, but because I don't have a brother or sister, it could also be like sibling energy in your life too. So brother, sister, sibling, or if you have a really young parent, it could also be sort of like, and maybe there's only, a decade or so that separates you, 15 years or whatever. If they're young, this could also be them. So somebody young in your family that I just felt like there was some tension that needed to be resolved, but it kind of felt like sibling-like energy. Or if you're really close, if you're adopted, or if you have a really close friend, because I have people in my life that kind of took on the proxy role, maybe a brother or sister too. So if it can be your chosen family. It doesn't have to be blood relatives. Really work on strengthening and clearing those out, because one, it could actually clear out the doppelganger energy that I was seeing in the relationships, because if you go through the masks that you have in your closest relationships, then it doesn't have to show up as a teaching lesson in your romantic relationships. And then also, you won't be forced to kind of repeat any lessons that you didn't quite get there. This whole final column is about learning. So whether it's going to school or learning through the relationships and the experiences that we're calling into our lives, your big focus right now is graduation, right? And also going towards the lessons you want, not the lessons that you are avoiding. So make sure that you don't need to get anything kind of taught to you by new people coming in. Resolve the karma, get really confident in where you're at in your own life, and know that you can find new grounding if you need to. And if you're stuck, you're not stuck. I guess that's kind of my sort of two-pronged approach. Plant roots if you want to, pull them up if you want to as well. It's really your choice this month on how you want to move forward. But there's a lot of change energy available to you. And I see like intuitive awakening. I see change of direction. I see breaking through limits. And then I also see some healing going on with family energy, sort of harmony too, because I heard music in the meditation. So to me, that meant that you could find harmony or some sort of synergy with whatever it is that's kind of in discord right now. Okay. Let's move along to the Celtic Cross. I'm going to quickly stack up all these cards. Don't worry, I'm going to show each card with all the words that I wrote at the midpoint. So just stick around there if you want to read word for word what I wrote. I try to kind of go a little bit more fluidly when I'm doing it at the beginning. So as I do the Celtic Cross here, I am going to remain quiet, just paying attention to the cards and the messages that are coming through. And I appreciate your patience as I'm doing that. All right. Thank you so much. And again, it's good to see everybody today. I hope you're enjoying the reading and what's coming through. I love this deck, but it's new and it takes a little bit to shuffle it. You can tell it's stubborn. There we go. I'm actually going to get a drink because I forgot before I get started. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being patient. Okay, let's take a look. So it's so interesting here. We have the turtle card, and the turtle showed up the other day as well. And I love the turtle. It was actually a hermit card, and it was in the recent past in yesterday's reading, or the previous day's reading. We did it on Friday. So because this is in the catalyst position, it's going to hold some different symbolism. So I want to talk about that. A catalyst is, first of all, a card that helps connect you to the highest energy of the month, keeps you out of trouble, basically, and gives you some additional insight on how to focus with everything that's coming through. So the turtle is great because it's like kind of the quintessential vagabond. It carries everything that it needs right there on its back. It can withstand almost any storm. And sometimes it's underestimated. I actually read up on the turtle the other day after I was reading it, so I guess my guides were preparing me for today. It knows kind of like when to hurry and when to slow down. And if you look at sea turtles, they're actually really fast. So sometimes what you expect to go slow can be faster than you think. So this is something that's really important for when you're manifesting a goal or an outcome. What I'm seeing here is that possibly things could move a little bit more quickly than you think. So maybe we're in the turtle moment right now in November and December, because this is if you're listening to it live, it's November, but I'm reading for December. But what I see is that come 2021, things could start to really kick off. So I want you to start to plan for future movement and momentum, and to feel protected, guided, and ready right now. This is showing me you can take care of yourself, and you've got what it takes to get through this, to weather whatever storm is going on here. You look at the sort of backdrop, and it almost looks to me like it's moving through the rain or moving through the mud. So you're going to be okay, all right? And that's basically what I see here. But the timing is going to be essential for when to speed up a little bit. And don't also take other people for granted in your life where you think that maybe they're just slow. Maybe they're very thoughtful, and they're going to pick their moment to scurry along and show their true speed. So I see the turtle as an element of surprise, and as a symbol that this is a temporary pause, but it's not going to be this way forever. The other thing is they live long lives. So we're also looking at long-term goals, which was something that I talked to everybody about on Friday, which is looking not just at short-term gains, but at the longer-term focal points in your life. So what is the big game plan? What's the end game plan? And I think it's really important to know that moving forward in this month, okay? We'll have more to talk about the turtle as I look through all the cards here, but let's get into the center point, okay? We have the Knight of Wands here, and this one's really interesting. It's almost as if, well, instead of a horse or something, what is she riding? It feels like it's a ram or something, but I see her kind of really taking it by the horns, which goes back to the metaphor of like really holding onto that wheel or shifting gears. So for you, I mean, wands for me actually are a mental sort of change or mental thought or an idea. So I really want you to take control of your thoughts and take authority and take responsibility for them and do something about them. And that's basically what the Knight is. It's moving the needle forward in the right direction. And this is the speedy turtle here that we're seeing, where this could be like the aquatic version, where things start to move really quickly, but it requires follow through at its base level here. That's what this card is saying. With proper follow through, you'll be surprised at the progress that you can make. Owning your ideas and believing in them and standing up for them and really being, your own best marketer for that is going to be really important as well. Nothing really bad with the Knight of Wands. Just great ideas and movement, but you have to do something about it. Sometimes a good idea with no action is just an idea. It's something that's unrealized. We have the Sun card on top of this, which is fantastic. Your charisma is not to be underestimated. Your insight is divinely guided as well. We've got that disc like a nimbus right on top of the crown chakra in this particular card. Beautiful Egyptian symbology in this one as well. We've got Ra, basically the sun god. So your energy, your thoughts, your insight is really going to be something that's attractive to others, and it's going to move it forward. This is the only sun card that I've seen in a while where we actually see him on a ship, right? Moving things. So lean into that and know that that energy is going to be really, really productive. And hopefully you're like, this is saying have some fun too. Whenever I see a typical sun card, it would be like a little baby on a horse. And even though that's kind of scary when you think about it, it's all symbology. But it's basically about having fun, moving forward, and allowing that sort of energy of a child to bring that momentum in your life. So make time for play, make time for rest, just like a kid would. Don't hold on to things too tightly. Don't be afraid of things too much. It's just basically having a playful, joyful energy to move forward the ideas that you have, the dreams that you have in your life at this moment in time. Okay? Great center cards, great center cards. Let's look at the work you've been doing over the past few months here. We have 9 of Pentacles in reverse. I love the 9 of Pentacles because it's basically showing me that a lot of you have been basically saving up or investing in yourself because of the reverse of this card so that you could be more independent, or that's the end goal for you, is like, I want to not rely on people. And some of you might be in a position right now, because I saw this in my dream last night, where you might be living with family, or you might be taking in people so that you can help them out. If you have extra to give, know that that's a really good karmic thing that you're doing. You're sharing your bounty, basically, which is what this card is about. So if you can share and you want to do it, good for you. It won't be a forever thing. And that person symbolized here by the 9 of Pentacles is also in a place where they probably don't want to do it. So I feel like the two of you are going to find a way to harmonize. And that might have been the energy that I was seeing in the channeled messages about trying to find family harmony. So whatever the case is with that, good for you if you're able to do that. For the rest of you, don't fear abundance, because this is basically showing that you've done it before, you can do it again. One thing that's kind of cool with history is it repeats itself. So if you've been successful in the past, you have the skeleton key to do it again. And no matter where you're at, this is so important in 2020, no matter what's happened, where maybe you've lost a job or you've lost confidence because things have been harder for you than they have in the past. This is a moment in time. Things can rapidly change over the course of a day, a month, a week. So don't hold on. Remember the parking ticket. Don't hold on to one experience too long. And you may be sort of pushed to try something completely different out of your comfort zone. So be open to that. But the good news here is you have what it takes. Believe in that, right? Everything in the energy of the center is positive. Knight of Wands, Sun, 9 of Pentacles. Nary a bad card in the mix there. And even though one of them was reversed, that's just sort of like focusing on something that was. So just don't focus too much on the past. We can't repeat it. We learn from it, we build upon it, and then we move forward. That's how life works. We have a Page of Wands here, reversed. This is the close sort of relationship that I'm seeing. We have the upright one at the center, which is you. And then we have the reverse one here, which would be someone else in your life, or could be a way of thinking that you have. And this is saying, just be open-minded, or maybe you're working with someone that's very closed-minded. Do your best to sort of pick and choose battles in that case. One thing that I've learned the older that I get is that, especially when it comes to family, some things are just better left unsaid. And that's why it's sort of not coming through with swords. It's all in the head, right? So we can pick and choose what makes sense to talk about, what we want to fight over. There are some things where I think it is important to stand up for yourself, absolutely. But there are other areas where it's sort of just, it's like you're just blowing air out into the universe and nobody's really caring. So don't waste like a tire. Don't kind of like get deflated or defeated by, I made up a new word, putting the two together, by dealing with somebody in your life that kind of likes to just poke the air out of things, right? It's not worth it. On the bright side, because I can see a bright side with this, with all the positive energy, your resilience and resolve to get something done if you are stubborn, that's a good thing that's going to help you achieve your goals. So don't give up. That was one of the messages that I said earlier, and that card definitely fields into that. We have the 10 of Wands here in the crowning position. And what we see here is kind of like a judgment card almost. So, some religions, you plant a tree after someone's passed, like you can put it over their grave or whatever. What I'm seeing here is something that has passed in your life. It can be more symbolic. Like I said, a lost job, a lost cause or a dream that didn't kind of come to fruition the way you wanted it to. What I'm seeing, though, is that it's not the end. And in fact, that's the basis, or it's kind of giving like fertilization to the new idea. So you can take what you had and build upon it. And then we see this beautiful tree on top of it. So one end is another beginning. And that's really what we see in this beautiful 10 of Wands. I like the symbology here. It's a little Halloween-esque when we're looking at the skull, but I get the picture here, which is basically taking what you've had, building, and not feeling like just because it didn't work out the way you wanted that it's bad, or that it was that it's not going to lead to better things in the future. Sometimes just the release or the ability to kind of go and rework it is what's really important. So whatever that lesson is, build upon it. 10 of Wands, of course, also carries with it movement, which is what I was seeing with the car. So this could be a change of location. It can also be commuting, teleworking, which is what we're doing now. Some of you may find that whatever you were doing before, I know a lot of companies have shifted, especially tech companies. Now, like I think Microsoft was one of them that did this, and Facebook and Google and a lot of the digital ones. They're letting people permanently work from home. So your old job is gone. You're still working at that company, but it's going to change quite a bit. So even if things are the same, they're different right now. This is a very interesting time, and I think it's only going to continue as we move into 2021. So we're still in that energy of change. Work with it, embrace it if you can. Here's the Empress energy, and that was the control energy that I was also seeing with the car imagery. And this card is showing you that this is a divinely guided opportunity if you want to do it. We have like Mother Mary here, basically. So I want you to feel like at this point, if you want to take control over something or move forward in something, this is your chance to shine. This is your chance to sort of really use your voice, share your vision, do what's important. There's a lot of ownership and accountability that comes through with all of these cards. We have a lot of court cards here at the center too, like the Page and the Knight, and then I just see the Empress. It's another Queen. The Sun as well, a major arcana. All of this is showing you're the source. This is the source card. That's basically the ultimate source card, the Sun. The Star can work in the same way, but the Sun is more about you, your ego. You're taking control over this. So I like that. The other thing with the Sun and the Empress, this is a new beginning. It can be a baby, it can be a project, but it's the delivery of that project. This is the little baby, and this is the vehicle to bring that through. So if you're a guy like me, that can just mean basically giving something to the world that you've been working on, moving to the next phase of your life, birthing a new version of yourself, being reborn. But if you're looking to start a family, it can also mean adoption or birth or something like that. But I see a developmental phase starting to take root during December, because we see the 10 of Wands, which is movement, ends and beginnings, and then we see the beginning there with the Empress connected to this Sun card. So a new start if you want it. We've got another beautiful card here showing a breakthrough, a really nice Ace of Swords that's going to slice through that web here of all these cords, all these past things. This is your chance to break free if you want to. And whatever it is that you're thinking about or wanting to sort of like share with the world, your voice is super important, by the way. One voice can make a big change, a big difference. So make it count, make it positive, and then know that you can break through things. Just like I saw the glass ceiling shattering, you can also cut through all of these webs and all of these basically cords that might be binding you right now. So your voice, I have okay, so now my book is out. I can talk about it a little bit. I have this thing called the divine tongue in my book, which is basically the idea that words can like cut through or eviscerate things that don't need to be there. Just speech, just words alone can do it. Or very, very psychic thoughts. And I definitely believe that with this. So if you stay in the positive, stay in the affirmative, and stay strong and really pull all of your energy through that throat chakra, which is coming out when you're writing too, even though it's here, you can do amazing things. Use your voice and use your words as if they were blessings or weapons, but like, let's not weaponize them. When I say a weapon, I mean it's like a tool, better use. It's a tool, a divine tool that can help you fix things, resolve things, release things, okay? Your voice matters. And one voice can also change things if they're not going right, if there's things that are going on, if someone's being bullied, or if something's going on where you just feel like this isn't right, I don't want to see this happen anymore, then speak up, because you could make a difference by speaking up. All right, 9 of Wands, don't give up. And we see all kinds of skeletons this month in the read, which is showing me lots of transformative energy, which makes a lot of sense here as well. I think for you, with the 9 of Wands, there's a couple of things. First of all, it's been a tough year. I've been acknowledging that in all signs through the past couple readings. And this card usually shows someone that's been through the ringer, right? You've been through a lot, and sometimes it gets difficult to stay positive. But I see the 9 of Wands as being one of the ultimate survivor cards. The person doesn't give up. They have to keep pushing. And you've nearly gotten to that point of having everything where you want it. In fact, I feel like some of you have already gotten there, but there might be some stuff in the environment, because that's where this shows up, where you still have to prove yourself. I would think on some levels, for the people that don't understand what you're doing, they probably never would, or they're just not ready. So if it's gossip or people that just are saying things negatively about you, pull away from that. That's not worth your time and energy. And that's what the 3 of Cups can be. The 3 of Cups can also be people that are trying to make other people happy, wearing that false face that I saw. So if you see that in your group of friends, honestly, when it comes through, it's never fun to see, but it also is really good so that you don't put extra energy into that. I think it's good to put a stop to it. I think it's sort of good to say, I know what you said, I don't appreciate it, and I really don't have time for this anymore. Or just say, stop it. Stop it, I hear what you're saying and it's wrong. I did that once at a job. I knew I had to quit after that. I had somebody that was a supervisor that just was acting out of sorts. They were not a good person. And I just said, stop what you're doing. You're saying things that are wrong. You're doing things that are wrong. And I'm not going to be supportive of this anymore. I quit a week later. You kind of have sealed your own fate at that. But I wasn't going to stay there. I stood up, and that person ended up like not staying with the company because they sealed their own fate. But I'm glad I didn't go down with the sinking ship, right? So you have choices. Even if it means sometimes sacrificing something in front of you, it's better to walk away with a sense of, I didn't diminish my own sort of moral compass and stick with something like that. So it's tough, but sometimes you have to make that choice. On the bright side, we have new people coming into your life, which I saw. So if you are single and looking, there's definitely prospects and people that are interested this month, but just be picky. I saw, good, and I saw not so good. So you don't have to accept the first opportunity that comes your way as like, this is the only person that's interested in you. It's not. So be picky, take your time, trust your gut, and ask questions. I think those are the things that will help you the most. In existing relationships, when we get 3 of Cups energy, first of all, on the brightest note, it could just be a celebration. And when we connect it to the Sun and the Empress, it could be a birth or an announcement or an engagement or something really positive like that. Now, if you're in a relationship and you're feeling a little bit of a tug, it could be about starting the family, right? You're at a different point, and it's sort of like, am I ready? Because the 3 of Cups can be a doubt card for me when it comes to commitment. So maybe it's the timing. Like, I want to keep dating you. I want to go to the next level, but I'm not sure if I want a family. Maybe it's like, you want to get married right now, but I don't want to get married. Maybe it's like, I just don't want to get married. There could be those sorts of things that you need to look at, but there's a commitment question. And so whether it's you or the other person, I think it's important to kind of air out those concerns. In an existing relationship, though, it could just be a question of, has the flame sort of gone down a little bit? Like, is it just embers now? Can we fan the flame a little bit? Am I still happy with this person? And so there's no right or wrong answer with that. There's just a sort of question of long term. It's a checkpoint, right? And you can do whatever you want with that 3 of Cups checkpoint. You can decide, yeah, of course this is a person I want, but I feel like we need to work on together time. Or it's a deeper question where it's like, I don't know. I didn't get a Devil card. I didn't get a 7 of Swords. I didn't get a Moon. So I'm not necessarily seeing another person there. It's in the possibility space as well. I think it has to do just more with like, is this the one that I want to spend my life with? Whether you're in a relationship or just getting into one. If you're single and happy, usually this then goes into business relationships. 3 of Cups is about keeping secrets, especially when it's reversed. So I really want you to make sure that people sign the appropriate legal documents, and they don't, like, I was talking earlier about this, I think last time we were talking, just get everything signed, sealed, and delivered. And if something is a trade secret or there's a special announcement that you're trying to make, maybe only keep that between you and somebody that you trust, and, you know, not like, don't spread it around to too many people, because it could probably leak out otherwise. So, or only share it at a point where you'd be comfortable with that kind of information leaking out. Sometimes in politics and in business, people will purposely leak things. So if you're going to do that, that's fine. It seems like it's a cognitive choice. Just know that that person that you think might share it will share it. Okay. So however you want to look at that, I just see some slippery things with relationships. So you want to take your time, right? Be like the turtle. You've got what it takes. Slow and steady wins the race. Thank you, turtle. All right. 7 of Wands. Work hard. And the one thing with the 7 of Wands is you can do everything, but you don't have to do everything. So are you working smart as well as working hard? Because maybe you could rest a little bit more, be a little bit more productive. Sometimes we make mistakes when we push it too much or when we try to do everything. Usually with the 7 of Wands, there's an opportunity for delegation that, interestingly enough, when you let go of one of these wands, or in this deck, it almost looks like he's putting like nails in something. But I would say when you let go of one thing, then you get closer to the 8 of Wands, 9 of Wands, 10 of Wands. So you could be kind of spinning your wheels, back into the metaphor of the car earlier. And I would love for you to let some other people help with this a bit, okay? You have more support than you think. It's lodged right between the 6 of Wands, which is public support, and the 8 of Wands, which is abundance and movement. So when you let go of things a little bit, you can get that public support. And then you can also get into the 8 of Wands energy. So you have it at your disposal. You don't have to do it all. It's hard, right? I'm someone who likes to work hard and take ownership over things, but it's also important to understand sometimes you can't do everything. All right, let's take a look now at your expanded forecast. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, starting with the health card. I mentioned earlier that some of you may be helping somebody out in your life right now. It could be an older parent. It could be someone who's just fallen down on their luck. And the service card actually kind of comes through with all of those things. Maybe you're actually driven to help people right now because in the time of COVID-19 and everything, if we have more, we can give more to other people, and it's a good thing. Take care of yourself. I mean, that's the one thing that I see here, because we see sickness and we also see people moving into spirit. So this is a part of the reality of 2020, and it will be a part of the reality of 2021. So if you're driven right now to help and make a difference, that's a beautiful message. The other thing that I'm seeing with this is, again, the dream traveling that I was talking about earlier, the dream working. So you're going to be receiving messages from ancestors, from your higher self during that period of time, and you're doing active work during that period. So please continue to write things down and really pay attention to the messages that you're receiving. Parents and children, siblings, anybody in your life that's really a blood relative right now. I was getting that when I was meditating earlier, that it's important to heal those family connections so that everything in the future will be okay, and also so that there's no regrets or no lost time. That's really the important thing that I think we've all realized. All the other nonsense that's been going on in the sort of environment around us, which we're not getting into today because we're focusing on you and what's possible. It really matters. That's what matters. Like you, your family, your pet, Apollo, he's hiding somewhere. But those sort of things, like it's the core family energies, the core soul energies, your health, of course. These things matter the most. Stuff, jobs, stuff that's going on in the world, it affects us, but we have to really focus on loving one another, connecting with one another. And that's what we see in this, is really getting back to basics with who you love, who you are, what you're trying to do, right? Looking just at the cards to get some additional specific health messages. Basically pacing yourself. Whenever I get like the 9 of Wands or 9 of Cups or 3 of Cups, what can happen sometimes is this sort of high and low energy, or a decision to basically just go all in and think, I deserve this. I'm just gonna, have an extra candy bar, or drink an extra glass of wine or whatever. Pull back just a little bit. Everything in moderation. I think we all deserve to treat ourselves, but this is just saying not every night, not more than one extra thing, just kind of like pull it back a little bit, because I could see that this could also just be because you're overworked. So just getting sleep will help with all of that. And then you won't be leaning on substances or other fillers in your life to try to prop you up. So, no 5-hour energy drinks and things like that. Just kind of pull it back, get the rest. Your body's tired for a reason. So take care of that. 7 of Wands can also be about physical exercise, really trying to work out a little bit of, get your muscles in shape a little bit, or stretching. If you're kind of older, and that's something you definitely want to check with your doctor for that. But a lot of these things can be done in a chair or in bed. There's some cool videos on YouTube about how to do low impact exercises if you have limited physical capacity. So take a look at that. There's a lot of different ways. There's even like yoga where you can do it using your chair and things like that. So I see some of you might be going through like rehab or recovery with this, because we're connecting this card with the hospital, and this one that's showing sort of like working out or PT. So just take your time. It will be okay. And that's the main messages that I'm receiving here for health. For wealth, which is not just money, but also like what you think of yourself and how you're approaching opportunities, we have a support card as well. I'm seeing a theme here, not to be afraid to ask for help or to give help. It's coming through in both what's healthy for you and also what's necessary for growth. So if you want to go back to school, but you can't afford to pay the rent, you might need to take a roommate, you might need to live with somebody or live with family. If you're at a point where you don't like to ask for help for something, but it's important either for like recovery, or maybe there's a job and you know someone that works there and you're just kind of shy about asking. This is just leaning on your support team around you to be more successful. And maybe you want to be a mentor or mentee. If you're retired, this can also be about giving back to this next generation that's kind of wondering, how do we deal with this? Many people from, that have lived through things like World War II know that, we can get through what we're going through at the moment, or have seen things like, smallpox or whatever. Like we've had moments, or polio. Like there's been moments where there's been global illnesses and pandemics, and we've worked through them. So it's just new to this generation. But if you are part of that, part of the previous generation or generations, and you can help, be a voice of reason right now, because it's something that's very much needed. But basically, I see strength in support. I like the general resource card that we have here with the Nine of Pentacles. And then I like the sort of working and moving energy here. We have 10 of Wands, which is really showing where your headspace is. You're already there. You're already at the horizon. The reality of where you're at is the 9 of Wands, so don't give up. And the way that you keep getting there is the 7 of Wands, but using delegation as a key to this. So I see hard work. I see the ability to succeed. I see the birthing or creation of something new. And I like what I'm seeing here overall. So wherever you're at, your story's not done. If you're retired, there's something new. You've got another trick up your sleeve. If you've lost your job, you can get another one. If you're bored and you're ready to move on to something else, maybe you can do your own company, make your own company. That was something I never really imagined myself doing until I found myself at a sort of like vector in the road where I thought, I have to do this. So sometimes you kind of end up somewhere where it feels right, but you didn't expect it. So whatever it is, you've got what it takes. And that thread is common through everything that I'm seeing here. All right, release is the big message when we're looking at relationships here. We have God is in charge, which I just see as like surrender to the divine, basically. So with this divine guidance, I feel like, first of all, if there's something that you need to see, you're going to see it. If there's something that you need to do, you're going to be supported as you make that change. This is an Archangel Michael deck. So one thing that he is keen on is protection and breaking through things. He always has his sword, which we see here in the ego, cutting through those webs, those fears, those doubts. You've got it too. You can work with him. Before I do the readings in the morning, I work with like at least 3 archangels in the meditation. Michael is always one of them. I usually have Gabriel and Raphael, and then depends, I'll pull other energies in as well. But what Michael's good at is protection, confidence, Also, even communication with that sword. So you can do this. Gabriel's great for that too, because it's like the voice of the divine. So that's part of the reason I named the character Gabriel in my book, because you're a channel. That's like the divine channel, the ultimate divine channel. So work with the archangels, trust yourself, and let go. At a certain point, for some of you, you just might be ready to move on. That's really what the 10 of Wands is. There's different forms of transformation. This is maybe the only 10 of Wands that shows the transformation energy in it, because we see the skeleton at the bottom here, or the skull. But I've talked about it before. Usually we focus on swords as being the sort of, because you have like the 4 of Swords, which shows putting things to rest, 6 of Swords, which is moving on or ghosting or traveling or moving away. But the 10 of Wands is also a movement card. And in this deck, we can also see that it can be sort of a rebirth card. So that's definitely part of this, is that it might be time to just start anew, and that's okay with a relationship. Maybe something has taught you everything that you need to, and you're ready to move on. And if that's the case, that's okay. And that's definitely a connection of the 10 of Wands and the 3 of Cups, which is, this isn't everything that I want it to be. I'm ready for something more. I'm going to move forward. And this is an independent card. So you can do that if that's the point of the road that you're in. Always choices when we look at this energy. The main thing with love is, where do you stand? And that's the important thing with this beautiful 3 of Cups. You can take it anywhere you want, but if you don't feel it, don't force it. That's a good sort of mantra when it comes to relationships. You should feel it. It should feel easy. It should feel good. Your heart is your compass. I say that a lot. So let it lead you in the right direction. And if it's pointing here, but your mind's pointing here, your heart is pointing you in the right direction. Okay. Your final card is Diana, focused intention. Think about what you desire, set your sights high, break through that ceiling, expect the best possible outcome. Amen, Diana. All right, so she was reversed, which is a bit basically, to me, like not second guessing your divine energy. Whenever I see the moon, particularly when it's around the crown or the third eye, it's like high priestess energy. So with her card in reverse, it's basically like a high priestess card reversed, which is saying, you know what you've got to do, trust it, and focus on what you originally had set out to do, because she's saying here, focused intention. One thing that you could also connect this to the Magician card. The Magician has one of every element in front of him, and he's as powerful as his thoughts and his focus and his intention will allow him to be. But if he tries to get too sort of like scattered, it's kind of like the spell fizzles. So you really need to focus on one thing. And this is the thing with the 7 of Wands. You're probably juggling too many things at once. It could simply be because of peer pressure or the desire to want to appease or appeal to other people. Do what you need to do, stick to your original plan, and I think that's going to be the most important thing, okay? So let's go ahead now, and we're going to take a look at everything that I mentioned here. I'm going to pull up all the cards in case you missed anything earlier, the channeled messages, and then we're going to move along to the soul path, where we can get some additional insight on how to really have that breakthrough moment, how to break through the ceiling, right? All right, so first and foremost, the messages surrounded proper self-care, and sleep was the key thing that I was saying, but this can be all aspects of your life, making sure that you're getting ample exercise, eating well, etc. But sleep was the primary thing that I was receiving here as a message here for you to focus on. It is a necessity. It's not a luxury. That's a misperception. And I think that that's something hopefully that we're starting to understand. Ironically, and I would say also magically, it allows you to work. Even though you're sleeping, I saw sleep working, and it's like sleepwalking, but you were actually solving problems and issues in your sleep. And not only that, but it's also a great way to connect to the divine, your higher self, to just basically be more psychic, right? So don't be afraid to do that. Really pay attention to your dreams and write them down, right? Okay, I then saw an image of a car with a ticket on it. You were trying to find the car. You've been away from it so long, you couldn't even figure out where you parked it. This is a symbol of like being stuck in one place too long. And we saw your crowning card being the 10 of Wands. It is time to move on. So you've been waiting too long for something or someone. This is your wake-up call. That's really what that ticket was symbolizing. Time to change your direction, shift into a new mental gear, and really do better time management. I didn't hit upon that earlier, but that is something that is important as well. take the wheel and drive. Take control. We got the Empress. I mentioned that earlier, that it would be like Emperor, Empress energy. So she definitely came through. Also, if there's anything that you owe or need to kind of pay, this is the time to do it. I said adhere to contracts, avoid late fees or fines, resolve old debts, whether they're literal or figurative. This is the time to basically clear out that, that sort of checkbook in the sky. It's time to get everything where it needs to be. Then I saw an image of you walking on and falling through or breaking through a glass ceiling, which was highly symbolic. I see it as positive, favorable, auspicious. Basically, you are not going to be constrained by a limiting thought. In fact, you can shatter those limiting thoughts, just like the ceiling. And like, okay, I skipped one here. It gives you a chance to move up, to break through your own fears, and to release the figurative ceiling to your soul's firmament. Basically push for those dreams and don't let any rejection that you feel be a deterrent. Perseverance is what wins out in the end. For school or for training, really follow your heart. Don't do it because someone was pressuring you, like we saw with the Three of Cups here. This is your chance to do what you want to do. And if you're at any age, it doesn't matter if you're 18 or if you're in your mid-career or if you're retired and you want to learn something new, you're never too late to go back to school or to learn again. And then once you choose that path, happiness, success, fulfillment, they can be mutually inclusive. They don't have to be in their own silos. In fact, when you connect them all together, then you're unstoppable. Take time to get to know new people in your life. I saw someone that might be like a doppelganger or wearing a false mask. You're going to be able to discern that. Just follow your gut. Your guides are there to help you out. And finally, heal the family relationships in your life so that as you meet those new people, as you develop future relationships, you're not working through that old family karma or baggage. And in particular, I was seeing younger relationships kind of taking center stage there. So I think it's really important to focus on those first. So for some of you, that could be a sibling, a cousin, or a chosen family member, like a friend that feels like a brother or sister. The turtle card, things are not always what they seem. Timing can surprise you. Like we were talking about earlier, the sea turtle can actually go very fast, but when it's on land, it's kind of slow and not what it seems to be. This is also a card of, I would also associate it with the Fool, even though it was the Hermit in the other deck. It kind of contains all those energies because it has everything that it needs. And like the Hermit, it's like the Fool, the Hermit, and I would say also in some energies here, it could even just be a very transformative energy where it surprises you. Just things are not what they seem. That's another common thread. Knight of Wands, the Sun card, also connected to the Empress. A great idea. And your own sort of ownership and salesmanship or marketing is kind of what brings that through. You got to believe in yourself. If you believe in you, I believe in you. That'll help you with jobs. That'll help you with relationships. It'll just help you full stop. Nine of Pentacles in the deep past. You've done it before, you can do it again. Or you've done enough work so that you can basically capitalize on that work in the near future. Page of Wands reverse. Your stubbornness can actually be a great tool for success. You might also be in a sort of relationship where the two of you are very similar. And this is about trying to find a middle ground. And you can do that through humor. You can do that through having fun. Try to like add a little levity, not in a condescending way, but to try to find something that you both enjoy doing together. And I think that could also break the ice or break the tension. 10 of Wands, there's a pending move that needs to happen. It might already be underway. The Empress is showing that the movement and the decisions and the opportunities are a direct result of your decisions, your voice. And wow, your voice is powerful. Look at this sword cutting through all those knots. It can do anything. So you really have to use your voice as if it were a divine tool, which it is. Don't give up. Don't let other people push you around. This can be a card of abuse. So if there are people around that are abusing power, I kind of use that reference in my example. Or if there's someone around you that's trying to be pushy, stand up for yourself. Speak up and tell others like I did. Even if that means moving on, it's probably a sinking ship anyway. So it's the best choice sometimes. But otherwise, the Nine of Wands is the ultimate survivor. You can get through anything, no matter how challenging. It's already close to the 10 of Wands anyway. And it's not an end. It's just one chapter coming to a close. Three of Cups. Could be a great celebration, could be an announcement. Be cognitive of secrets and who you share things with. There are loose lips here that I can see. The other thing is there could be a question of commitment that's coming through. There are a lot of ways that you can explore your energy surrounding that commitment. So just find what's best for you. Just be honest, though. I think that's the key thing with that. Hard work will pay off. You don't have to do it all. Being of service, helping other people, really important to just general happiness, whether you're receiving or giving that help or being of service to others, it doesn't matter. We all take our turn giving and receiving. And then just looking at general health cards, not going to extremes is going to be important. Also giving yourself time to recover. Physical therapy is a good thing if you've been through some sort of a difficult path in your life. I see a new beginning for you. So just keep working hard. Support is coming through when we're looking at wealth and career and money. So you might be able to help or receive help, but it requires you asking and seeking that help. We've got a mother card here too. So there might be a maternal energy that steps in and is that sort of conduit to help you out. As we look here at love and relationships, releasing this feeling that you have to control everything, I think is also important. It should be give and take. It should be more natural. And that's what we see with the divine energy being in charge, God being in charge. And then focused intention. Know who you are, know what you want, really be mindful of that and know that that's going to help move everything in the right direction. All right. So really overall, cards of empowerment, cards of breakthrough, messages of the same that we were talking about earlier. Let's go ahead now and go a little bit deeper into some of the messages that we see here. I want to go into the 9 of Pentacles from the deep past. I want to see what it is that you can leverage and hopefully build upon that to get to the next level. All right. This is it's an interesting card here because the Devil card is about limits. So what was limited before is not limited now. And it really is going back to the glass ceiling. And let me tell you something about the Devil energy. Sometimes when you're on the precipice of doing something amazing, shadow energy comes in to challenge, block, and try to delay that. If you're experiencing this sort of energy, eureka, you might be onto something really, really good. And part of the way shadow works is it's like, no. We want you to be in that place of feeling hopeless. We're going to send you one last thing to just test your resolve. And the divine is sort of sitting there thinking, all right, let's see how this plays out because we have something great in store for you, but we're going to let that one last block come through to test you. So both sides or both frequencies are testing you to see what you can do. So you look at this and you just think, not this time, not today. We've already been down that. And you do not hold dominion over me. We're over this now. So this is the past. The limiting idea is the past. And also don't get into any contracts that you don't agree with. I mentioned being pushed into something that you didn't like. School was just a metaphor. It's an experience. It's a learning experience. So if you have to have someone twist your arm, it's not the right path. If you're walking around the block 3 or 4 times trying to figure this out, this is not the right path. It shouldn't be this much work. It shouldn't be this difficult. If you're signing away too much, this happens specifically for artists, whether you're a musician, a writer like I am, or anybody that kind of licenses work. Sometimes the license agreement can be way too much. So if you don't like it, don't do it. Go to a lawyer, find a better agreement, or do it yourself. Okay, so work beyond El Diablo here. We don't need this energy anymore. And it's the past. It is in the past. We're looking at the past. And guess what? The reason that this is coming through is you have a lot to offer. When you have a lot to offer, shadow energy steps up and wants to make sure that maybe one last chance to pull you in. So you're going to rise above it. You're going to be the sun. You're going to shine through that. You're going to be the star basically and say, not here, not now. I learned the lesson. Thanks for showing me. I don't want that. Okay. And break through the ceiling, the floor, whatever, the wall. You've got it, okay? That's all the devil really is here, is an old limiting belief or a contract that's not what it seems to be, a person that pretends to be an advocate but isn't. That person needs to be released in your life, that thing, that thought, that way of being, because that's your limit. And it's not necessary anymore. You don't need it. Yes, get out of here. Exactly. All right. So as we look at the next thing, I want to see what I can do to help you get on the path. We have the 10 of Wands. And I also want to kind of see, like, this is steering the wheel, because that was one of the messages that we were talking about. So limiting path, you're over that. You already know that that's just a thought. It's a fear. Also, you don't need somebody to make it. Oops. You don't need somebody to make it happen. The devil card wanted to get really close, apparently. You don't need someone to make this happen. This is just what it appears to be, someone that's trying to take advantage of it. So it's you. This is what we want to focus on instead. Okay? Peaceful leadership, strength, your personality, your idea, your vision. All right. Now, let's get into the 10 of Wands. Where are you going? Where is this taking you? Hierophant reverse, which is actually like a rebel. So the Hierophant upright is kind of adhering to old ways of doing things. We were talking a lot today about like the 20th century mindset. Go to school, be a certain type of person, and make money, retire, and do that job for 30 or 40 years, and that's what you did. That's not how we work anymore. So you are a rebel. You're going to break through the Hierophant energy, and this would be corporations. This would be like old institutions. This is old ways of thinking and exchanging money. It's basically new business. So, what we're doing here today is a new way of connecting, right? This didn't exist 20 years ago, not like this. YouTube's been around for a while, but like 2007 or something, but it's changed a lot too. Live wasn't always a part of what they did. So we have to keep changing the way we interact, we do business, we think, and it doesn't matter what age you are. I was watching some stuff on television where I was looking at some of the people that can operate all the technology. And I saw some people that were like in their 60s and 70s using all these computers. And I thought, don't underestimate right now how nimble and how able you are to adapt to technology and to a different frequency. So this is just saying you've got it, and at any age you have it. And even if you haven't had the exposure to new ways of doing things, just let it go and try something new. So the way to get there is that it's not the same path. Like the 10 of Wands is showing someone taking their own path usually and going to a new destination. So that's kind of what we're seeing here. If I were to connect the 10 of Wands to the Hierophant reversed, is saying there is a new or a better way. And that's why there was a full stop before. There's something better waiting for you. Okay. Let's look now at the Ace of Swords. What's coming through with communication. And yeah, if there's anything else that we need to see to kind of help you break through that ceiling. The Star card. Love the Star. She was reversed, but as you know, this is probably my favorite card because it's a connection to source energy. I think that when you are the Star, you're really on your high path. So for you this month, and I would even say for like the next quarter year, the energy is really saying, be yourself. Step in to your highest possible light and life and be at peace with that, because there's some really great stuff that's awaiting you. And this is your time. This is your time to shine. Sometimes we mute our light for fear of rejection. Sometimes we mute it because we want someone else to have their moment. I believe that we're constellations. Like this is a soul constellation. Everybody that showed up today has a lot of light. You wouldn't be here otherwise. And with that soul energy, there's no reason we can't all shine and be a galaxy or a constellation together. Why does your star have to be brighter or dimmer than mine? It doesn't. And if I'm around someone that shines really brightly, then I also will start to shine even brighter. So it's a good thing. You shine bright, lead the way, lead by example. If you're dimming your light, you're sending a message that it's okay for me to be taken granted for, like, I'm gonna diminish my worth. You don't have to do that, but you also don't have to. I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, we can all shine together and it's not eclipsing one another. Let's just try to kind of encourage that growth and that transparency. This is also just being honest. There's nothing to hide anymore when you're in the star, right? Like, because it's all seen. This is an unusual star. Sometimes the star and the world cards are nude. And the reason that there is nudity in tarot is not to be salacious. It's symbolic, like what you would see with a Greek or Roman statue. Usually the gods are naked because they're divine. Even if you go to like biblical stuff, Adam and Eve are naked because they're divine and they're not afraid of that. So when you are at your purest, there's no artifice. This is still artifice. This is even artifice. Like they're all layers on top of that. So the star card doesn't even need any of that. It's not even in a body. So it's just you at your core or your source. So that's what we're getting to, is back to basics and back to why you came to this planet. And there's been a lot of distractions over the past year or 10 years or 20 years. And this is time to wake up, right? So that's where we are right now. Break through, break out, be yourself, and you're going to be free. This was the card of making everyone happy in the past. It didn't work very well. Or having someone just tell you what you needed to do. No, thank you. This is breaking through the patriarchy, but breaking through the hierarchy, breaking through institutions, breaking through all that nonsense. And it is very much the old male-dominated energy that's kind of breaking through here. Divine masculine has a place, but divine feminine does too, and we're starting to see more balance there. So let's get them both working in concert. One does not have to exclude the other, and that's what we're starting to see here. And then the star card, which is divine feminine energy coming through. And this is also creative energy, and there's a lot of divine feminine, and let's just kind of like talk about that for a second, then we'll get into the meditation because we're short on time here. But we each have the capacity to access it. Men and women can be both divine masculine and feminine. And so the divine feminine, it's its time right now. It's its time to heal, to bring forth new things, and to kind of like finally have a seat at the table. And so if you're a man, that does not mean it's excluding you. That means you can get in touch with your divine feminine, which is something we've been denied too. So let's be more sensitive. Let's be more creative. Let's be more open. Let's be more supportive. Let's be more nurturing. That's part of this message as well. Men, you're included in this. You're not excluded. And women, you're especially included right now because it's your time. It's your time to kind of like be here, step forward and share your voice. Everybody has something to say. Everybody has something to share right now, okay? So let's get into the meditation and let's try to unify. Let's be the constellation. That's what it's going to be today. We're going to bring through all the light. It all shines. We all have something to add. And we're going to bring unity and healing. That's the meditation for today. And I'll pull a card at the end too. I feel like I will do that. See if there's one last message. I've been doing that this month. I did it with my collective message. So if I have time, I'll pull one more and kind of close with that. Before I do it, if you could please hit like and subscribe. It helps this channel quite a bit. And if you feel driven to, you can also share on social media. Because what I do is a little bit unique and it doesn't always show up in the algorithm. So I need your help with that. Okay, so get comfortably seated if you're not already. We're going to be doing a sort of like twilight meditation. So while I'm getting set up here, you can imagine that you are out in the forest. In the middle, like there's a clearing and you can see the star crystal clear above you. You can see all the stars, all the firmament above you, free of city lights, free of pollution. So wherever that is for you, whatever it looks like, that's fine. If you want to even imagine that you're on another planet looking at the stars, that's fine. Just see the sky being completely clear, the stars and galaxies lighting up the light in the skies, and that's what we're going to focus on. So lay down, feel the support of the ground beneath you. And if there's anything that you're holding on to, fear, doubt, uncertainty, old ways of thinking or being, this moment in time, surrender them to the earth, surrender them to the ground, and just let them go. Allow yourself to be free of these burdens and just to be yourself. Relaxing your posture, melting in, feeling almost as if, like what you would see on a Rider-Waite-Smith card, there is a hand in one of those ace cards, and it's just holding your body, supporting you. This is Mother Earth, or like the turtle energy, which in many religions is the earth. You're being supported by that hand or by that divine symbol of the turtle, and you're okay, you're safe. As you look up at the sky above you, I want you to really tune into your heart and also into your throat, because we're going to be speaking and feeling the truth now. And I want you to say something beautiful to your higher self. First of all, say, I see, I hear, I feel, I celebrate this higher self that's always been there. And I want to connect to the truth of who I am again. Maybe I got lost along the way. Maybe I muted my light. Show me the way. Feel that your heart is connecting to that it's your compass. Hear the energy hear the thoughts, hear the guidance coming through your throat and also through your ear chakras. But now allow your heart and throat to really shine brightly, and see that your light is almost as bright as any star in the sky. And because we're doing this together, imagine that as you look out at the surface, you see everybody that's meditating in their own spaces, and you can see each and every one of them lighting up on the ground or around the planet, if you want to see it in an even bigger sort of picture. And as you see all these souls lighting up, imagine that we're sending spotlights out into the universe, or we're kind of projecting ourselves astrally, and you can see all of these stars kind of encircling the planet with this web of energy, this constellation of light. What we're going to do is we're going to beam that heart light into the planet, across the surface, and also right back into ourselves. And we're going to send a healing vibe across the planet. And as such, we'll also be healed because we're healing one another as well. So send the single thought, the single frequency of love. We are the same. We came from the same source. We're expressing ourselves in different forms, but we're actually the same. We're all the same. We have to love each other, because when you hate someone else, you're hating yourself. So we're just going to send love and acceptance to this entire planet. And because we're going to vibe higher and we're going to send it out there, other people will receive it. And for some reason, they're going to be going about their day and they're just going to have a good feeling. So we're going to send that good feeling vibe out to the planet as I play the singing bowl, and then we'll wrap up. Take a deep breath and imagine that you are now so sort of out of your body and so bright and so light that you are the size of a star, that you have arms and wings that could reach around this planet. Send your heart space energy to the core of this planet, the divine feminine that supports all of us. So imagine also that you're holding hands or kind of like connecting wings and bringing this circle of light to the planet, to the collective, to yourself. And there's a Joni Mitchell song, like Woodstock, where she talks about us all being constituted of stardust. And we are stars. So see yourself, see everybody shining brightly, and know that in this collective constellation, there are no dim lights, there are no bright lights, there are just lights. And we're all part of that celestial family. And imagine now, like stardust, we're coming back down to the planet, to our hearts, bringing forth that message in our mind, our body, our spirit, and everything that we do, everything that we say. And remember that we are part of the same energy. In my book, I wrote about siblings that were stars. Some of them chose a path of light, some of them chose a path of dark, but they were all light, really, at their core. And I still believe that they are. So I feel like we're part of that same experience. We're just we're all in different frequencies. So when we recognize that we're family, it gets easier. It's harder to hate your family. One last card, and then we'll wrap up. The Tower Reverse. We definitely made a difference with the meditation. And this is about rebuilding as much as it is about breaking things down. So I see like the glass ceiling as being the tower reversed as well. So this is a breakthrough, break down, break away sort of period of time But with the Tower reversed, you have choices. So December is bringing forth choices, Gemini. What do you choose to do? Where are you going? This is your time to figure it out. If you know where you're headed, it's going to be a lot more effective and you're going to get a lot more done. Okay? So let's wrap everything up here. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to everybody that joined today, and especially Ryan and Maria, who were helping me keep everything organized so that I could just do my thing. I appreciate you guys. If you have already given me a super chat, when this is on replay, I'll pin a comment and say thank you, but I wanted to say it right now. You helped me with all the supplies and just setting up the time to be here, so I appreciate you. If you would like to connect with me, everything that I'm about to mention is on my website, so you can go to nicholasashbaugh.com to see all of this, but I'm going to also highlight it. First and foremost, I'd love to see some of you join me on social media. The way that you can do that is basically it's just my full name, nothing before, nothing after. And on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, I will use stories to remind you of upcoming videos, and I put the link in them so that you can actually, I can't do it on YouTube, but on Facebook and Instagram I do. So that way you can just click to it on the morning of and you can go straight to the video. So worth following me there just for that. On YouTube, I'll use stories to remind you. And I also use the community tab to post a bunch of relevant reminders and newsletters and things like that. So you really should subscribe and opt into notifications if you haven't. It will help with all that. You can also follow me on Goodreads. I'll be doing a Q&A and I'm accepting questions there. I'm probably going to eventually just open it up to everybody, but I'm giving early access to people on Patreon, Goodreads, and then also any of the channel members. I already pinned a members only post, but I will open it up to everybody because I just want a chance to answer as many questions as I can. So I'll let you know when that comes through, probably in a week or two. I'll put some another video on my main channel and just allow for questions to be answered in that, asked rather, in the comment section. You can also follow me on Twitter. It's the only one that has a different username. It's Ashbaugh. If you happen to be watching this on replay, you can also use the applaud button. It's only on desktop or Android devices at this time, but that's another way. And again, you can be a channel member if you'd like to as well. So all of these are ways to give back. And I do have a PayPal too. That's on my website. So you can go to nicholasashbaugh.com or paypal.me/nicholasashbaugh. Let me see if I can get the link for the Q&A. I'll see if I can find it here. But basically on the 27th, I'll be doing a Q&A for anybody that's read my book. And I'll pull a link to that here in just a second. But just a chance for those of you that read it, because I deal with a lot of metaphysical themes and ideas in that, for you to, there we go, there's a link, to have a chance to ask some questions. So the title of the book is The Luminous Ones, and it's available now just about anywhere online that you need to find it. I'll put a link to that as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy it, and that'll be a time where I can just focus specifically on that. All right. Thank you so much. This was a beautiful reading. Really great energy came through. And I got that glass ceiling image a few days ago, and it just seems to make a lot more sense today. There's a lot of change and movement happening. So I'm excited to see where you decide to release the limits and have your own breakthrough. Okay. Much love and light, everybody. I'll see you soon. It's Sunday. I'll be back on Monday, and I'll be reading for Cancer. The schedule's on my website. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Be kind to yourself. Have a good one, and rest up. Remember, you got to take care of yourself. Okay. Bye-bye.